Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm here with part number 4 of our 2 Point Campus playthrough series, and in today's episode we are going to be continuing the work that we started in the previous installment of this series, which if you haven't already watched you can click on the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. But last time out we of course looked to continue to nicely build and sort of renovate our campus. Over here we erected our third building. We started building a few dormitory rooms, we've got a couple of shower rooms and a nice canteen area. The whole of this building nicely polished and completed, and then moved on to our first and main building where we're keeping all the educational rooms, our VR labs, our science labs, and of course our good old lecture theatres. We've nicely made a good start in terms of filling this building in and adding the decoration. We still have to complete that though by of course decorating this corridor along here and adding those little finishing touches. And then over to our third building to build up, and this one is going to be constructed of mostly libraries and student unions, and we should be getting onto that once we've sorted out our main building. And then to finish off with, we'll have a look at nicely sprucing up our outside area, just rearranging this, making it a bit more organised, and hopefully that will complete the whole look of the campus. But let's get into it then, shall we? Let's get into our very first thing to do, which is actually, as exciting as it sounds, yes, we are going to be moving some benches. I'm sure you guys have just found the perfect series to come and start watching. Honestly, it will get a bit more exciting than this. In terms of what we are planning to do at the moment, if you haven't already watched the previous video, we are looking just nicely to spruce up our campus here at Fresh Air Meadows, of course our very first campus in the series, and then we're going to get into year number 3, and hopefully by waiting a tad to get into year number 3 and not rushing into it, then in year number 3 we will be able to achieve that 3-star campus, those 3 coveted gold stars. However, we will of course have to ensure that we have the campus to be able to go and do that, and that's exactly what we are going to be doing in today's episode. Of course, to make it 3 stars, we need to have 10 students to graduate, which we can do at the end of year 3 if we nurture them and ensure that we can get some good grades. We have to have 10 A-grade classes. Quite the challenge, but I think we'll be able to complete that if we continue to push on with renovating our campus and then ensuring that our students are happy, so in year number 3 they'll be able to get those strong results. We have to also upgrade a course to level 4. Now that takes course points, and we do need to ensure that we do have enough course points to be able to go and do that. I'm going to sell a few of our 2 Point Campus little banners over here. We have got a few too many to say the least. We're going to nicely sell a couple of them just so it's not a bit excessive to say the least at the moment. But we do have to upgrade a course to level 4. Now we should have enough of these course points come the end of today's video to go and do that. My only worry though is that potentially it is cumulative. So what could happen is we could upgrade to level 1, that could cost 20, then level 2 could cost 30, level 3 could, and onwards of course. We're already at level 1, so you'd start upgrading it to level 2, but that is my worry. I don't think it'll be like that, so I don't think we need to worry too much having that as a possibility. So we can nicely sit back and not hopefully have any issues. We can place those 2 next to each other, and that will actually work, which is pretty nice actually. I wasn't sure whether that would work, so we're absolutely fine there. We can have our 2 stands like so, and then of course we can place a few more benches along here. Benches quite the staple of our campus at the moment. We don't have many other items unlocked, so we can't go for much more. So unfortunately we are stuck with quite a few benches, to say the least. We'll put a bin there, even though it won't be used by our students. Maybe the staff will throw their cheesy gubbin packets while the students aren't looking. They'll grab a pack of cheesy gubbins, they'll go and maybe have a sit down on a bench if all the students aren't in lesson, or potentially sneak into the staff room, because I am sure everyone loves a can of burp and a packet of cheesy gubbins. Talking of vending machines and so on, and places to get food, we are going to have a look at potentially going for another kiosk or 2, of course. These kiosks like our coffee and our hot dog stand. So we're going to have a look at potentially just splashing, instead of the cash, the kudos currency, and then hopefully that will allow us to go ahead and
Yes, the popular
potentially
snack,
be
cheesy
able
gubbins
to
have brought campus
purchase
life to a
either. We
standstill
could go with the
with their
veggie kiosk, but
golden
let's face it,
gubbin
you're at
promotion.
university.
The company has
We're not
said that there are
going to be
6
focusing
of
on
the
veg.
solid
We
gold
are going to have a
gubbins
look
to be
maybe with
found
the
in
smoothie kiosk
promotional
or
packages.
the ramen
Only one
kiosk,
such
which is
crisp has been
quite an
found so
inventive
far,
idea.
though
So I'm
the
quite
lucky
tempted by the
student is with the
ramen
nurse
kiosk, to
after
say the least. We
swallowing it.
may go for that.
Something of a crowd
I'm
has
just
formed
wondering how
outside the
far
health
along
centre,
we can go
where
before
they
we can start the
eagerly await
benches.
for
I
a
do
first
feel like
look
we're probably ready with some
at the
cheese
opulent
gubbins
puff.
and burp juice over here. That could be a good idea. And I actually think we could go ahead and place these two like so. That could work pretty well, actually, on that side. Yeah, we're going to go with that, and then there should be space for a good old bin here before we get over to the coffee stand. And a plant, that works really, really well, to say the least. We'll put a bin on the other side, of course. You know, it's too much effort to walk all the way around if you've just got a can of burp and you drink it. You've downed it quickly, as I'm sure some of our students will think that is a good idea, and then it will go miserably wrong. It is a can of burp juice, so you've got to take that into mind. We are going to place a few more of these lovely benches. I talked about this in the previous video, but I do think they're so much nicer benches than the hospital ones. Of course, as you'd expect, if they weren't, I would be mildly worried, but I do think they are quite nice looking benches, to say the least. We are going to have a look at another plant, potentially next to the bin. And then there is space, actually, to go for yet another bench along here. We are filling our campus with these benches. A nice wood, though, and then you've got that purple cushioning, too. It is quite nice to sit on, it does seem. We are going to have a look at a couple of hand sanitizers here. This could work, although it's saying invalid collision. And that is because of the windows. They are causing us a couple of issues at the moment. We don't want too many windows. I'm sure you guys will know I'm not a massive window person when it comes to 2-point games. We don't really put many of them in. We probably should, but it's fine. A couple of hand sanitizers on entry to the building. And look at this. It is really coming along, to say the least. And I think this is pretty much, of course, our first and main building. Nicely completed. There's not much more for us left to do. We could do with another plant. I mean, we really do like the plants here at 2-Point Campus. We are not going to stop putting plants in. And then we do need to have a look at some more kiosks. However, I think we'll do that once we've gone ahead and decorated what is going to be our second building, second plot, but it is actually the third building that we're going and nicely building up in that sense. We already have a student union and a library, but we aren't going to settle with this. This is not top quality, considering how many students we are going to have for the next academic year. Don't forget, we are closing in on campus level 11, which is quite a feat, actually, so I'm quite proud of us being fairly close to achieving that. We are going to have a look at extending this room a tad. That could be a good option. Let's go like so there, and then we've nicely expanded it. We're going to move our darts, and we are going to place darts, not like so, but we are actually not going to be able to do that. Let's just go ahead, sell the darts, and we'll be able to try and go and edit the room even further and hopefully sort some of these issues out. So, at the moment, we do need to have a look at potentially moving a couple of these things around, of course. We've got to have the vending machines in here too. We do seem to have some invalid items, apparently. That is over here. We're going to sell that. That does seem to be causing a couple of weird issues. You can get that sometimes on 2-Point games. We did have a glitch, of course, on 2-Point Hospital, if you don't already know. So that caused a bit of an issue, to say the least. Do we need 3 of these here? Could this work? They do look a bit cramped at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure. However, we do, of course, have the counters going along here. I'm going to pick this up, move the microwave across, because it is quite close to the sink, and I don't know how great our students are with electrical appliances, and we don't want any disasters, so we're not going to start risking things. We'll move that further along, and then we'll go and pick this up and place that in the middle, and then we got the bin in the corner. So a nice area for our unable students to cook and probably burn something and then set the campus on fire, and we don't have any fire extinguishers on this game, it does seem. So that is a minor issue, to say the least. Hopefully they don't set the campus on fire. That would certainly be quite helpful if they didn't. We cannot add a kiosk into this room, which is rather the disappointment, actually, but I can see why you can't. So it's not that big of a deal, really, is it? But we are going to have a look at some darts and, of course, a lovely bit of table football. Got to love some table football. I think we'll put the darts over here so the students can then poke each other in the eye with these and then not have much of a chance in lesson or in the rest of their life. I mean, can we really trust them with darts? No, but who cares? It's entertainment, really, isn't it? And that is exactly what we love to see. I might move this all the way along into this corner of the room, place that over there, and then we can move this sofa back a little bit over there. We can pick those two up. We can sell them, don't need them at the moment. And then, in fact, it may be a better option if we just put the table football all the way over here. That could actually work a bit better if we got that on the side of the room next to the darts. Gotta love a bit of darts, haven't you? I do like a bit of, you know, when you get darts, I mean, not actual dartboard, but you can get some, like, plastic dartboards where they're also plastic darts too, and you throw them into it. It doesn't work the best, but it works pretty well, and it is pretty fun to say the least. I would actually recommend that. It's a bit of fun, you know, and of course, there's not the risk of murdering someone while you're at it, which usually, you know, unless it's at 2 Point Hospital, it is quite a good thing if you're not murdering someone while you're playing darts, you know. If it's at 2 Point Hospital, it really, really is, because that is some more business for the hospital. But we are looking pretty decent in terms of our student lounge at the moment. We're going to go ahead and place a lamp over there. I wonder if this is slightly further out than it should be. No, that is not going to want to move in, so hopefully it isn't. We like it to be nice and fairly symmetrical. We don't have a coffee table like there was in the staff room, which is rather annoying, because I was going to go ahead and place one of them. We can't go and do that, so slightly annoying. We are going to try and pick this up. They move that next to the chair, and this is going along pretty well at the moment. What about a plant? Actually, not a plant over here. We'll pick up the plant, put it over there. Meanwhile, the radio announcer is advertising your good old cheesy gubbins, which you've got to love. A staple, of course, of our campus, those cheesy gubbins. We do need to try and sort this out. This plant is causing more of an issue than I was hoping for, and it is not going to work there. Yes, because you can't actually then reach that. So we're going to have to try and rethink this a little bit. We'll put the plant in the corner, and then we're going to have a look at a bin over here for our messy students. They can try and maybe have a think about putting the cheesy gubbins wrapper in there. I don't know if it's just too much effort, but we'll wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. We could do with some hand sanitizer. I cannot place that along there. Oh, we've got hand sanitizer over there. I think we could do with some more hand sanitizer over here, near the food prep station, because, I mean, if someone else is cooking for you, you would like it if they sanitize their hands first, especially seeing as we're at a university campus. But look at this, our student lounge looking even better now. We've got our activities over there, some nice seating, casual seating over here. And then, of course, you can grab some food over there. But I'm sure everyone is going to be rushing to our canteen over there. But we are now able to have a look at organising this section of the campus. We are going to probably want 2 student lounges at a minimum. And, of course, 2 libraries at a minimum. Not entirely sure, but I think we'll just go and place that over there. And then, of course, the library over here. Do we try and increase the size of our library? I think we are going to try and do exactly that. We're going to try and place that over there. And then, of course, we can go ahead and move that to there. Nicely sorted. And we now have the opportunity to move some stuff around. We've got a couple of records cubicles over here. Do we need to? Not entirely sure. We may start to go ahead and change that in a minute. We do, of course, need one of them. We can move our plant into the corner of the room, and then we can continue to move this along. That one actually fit there, which is pretty helpful, actually. Although I do think we'll just place that there to avoid any sort of issues over that side. And then, of course, we'll be having a look at moving these further along. We do want another one of these. Can we go ahead and copy them? Another really, really helpful thing that you can do is just copying items. So much easier than having to go in and then purchase another one. It is not what you want to have to spend your time doing, so it's rather helpful that you can go ahead and do that. We are going to reorganise this section a little bit, pick up our various cubicles. I don't entirely know which ones are which at this point. There's quite a few, but this is probably, I don't know, what is this one here? This is our study cubicle, and this one is our textbook cubicle. There isn't much of a difference, but it's nice to see that there are so many different ones in that sense, which is really, really cool. And it just makes it more interesting than having the same one throughout. It gets a bit boring like that.
Thanks
we
for joining
could
us on Campus
place
Radio.
another one of those bookcases there, but we are going to go with another one here,
Apparently we actually have a little more time.
then move
So,
this
I
to the
hope
side
you all
like so,
have
and
a
then we'll go
wonderful
and try and copy another one of these, and we can have that there. And then, look at this, we've got a library going on here. And then round the back, the students can go, and they can sit and they can learn. Although, if we move these a bit further forward, we could go, copy them, place another one here, and place another one here. That would work really, really well. So, we are now going to really try to complicate things, because that's what we like to do with our designs, of course. Move this exactly along here. That's the closest we can get them together. And then we can go ahead. We can place potentially another one here. That would work pretty well. And we can do the same on this side over there. That works really, really well in my opinion. Look at that. That is fantastic, actually. We have found quite the winning combination. And then we can place one here. We can go ahead, copy that. And we can do the same on this side over there. Potentially even do the same here. That actually would work. That doesn't entirely work with that being there. So we're going to have to go ahead and sell that. But this actually looks pretty cool. You've got the library there and then over here. And we've got quite the setting at the moment. I think this really does work quite well. We could actually extend this a tad across. We are really experimenting here, which is one of the things I love to do on this game, of course. Just don't go with it straight away, you know, might as well have a bit of a move around, see what you can do with it, and you'll usually find a better design or layout than you had before. So I highly recommend just taking the time to really make something you're happy with. And look at that. That is really looking quite the installation actually there. And then we have our librarian kind of huddled in the corner, to say the least, as you walk in. It's kind of blocking the view there. I'm sorry about that, librarian. I wouldn't mind moving this along like so. That could actually work well if we move this then next to that and do the same here. Then, if we just move this along, move that along there, this along here, this could just give us that view of the librarian, I suppose, when you enter, which is kind of going to work a bit better. And there we have it. That actually works really well. Although, if we then go ahead, pick this up, and then we can pick that up too. And look at that. We have quite the library arriving here. If we move this slightly further along and do the same on this side, then there's a bit more space there too. And, well, this is actually working. We've got a bit of an empty space here. I would try to copy that and put it this way around. That isn't really going to work. And at the moment, we do have quite the thriving library. He seems to be pinning on, or looking at that. Maybe he's going to pin on another thing onto there. I don't know what is happening. What is happening on this notice board? Maybe a movie night, a party or something on there? Maybe something about, I don't know, what's happening at school. Maybe got a sports event. Unfortunately, we haven't unlocked Cheese Ball yet, which I'm rather disappointed about. I really want to get into some Cheese Ball, but we'll have to wait a little longer for some of that. I am really wondering what we could kind of do with this design, because I would quite like to make a couple of changes. I would like to utilize this space back here. I actually think this works pretty well, because if we do that, we can then rotate them round, put them along there. So we're going to do this sort of a design here, and then over here, we might as well go ahead and we'll copy that. I'm just wondering whether to move this along a tad further. And don't forget, this will increase the prestige level of both our library and then, as a result, of course, our campus a little further. And then hopefully we should be a lot closer to that much wanted level 11, which will give us those more course points. And you want course points because you can then, as a result, run more courses. And more courses means more students, more tuition fees. And that is basically the principle of capitalism. And look at that. That is our library design. And then we have our student lounge design. This is going along very nicely. I have forgotten to add some of these. This would work pretty well if we put a couple on this side. And then, of course, a couple over here. Is that going to work? Yes, that is. Look at that. Might as well have the whole row like so. And that looks pretty spectacular onto the wall there. And now we can have a look at organising this. I'm thinking we may just go ahead and sell that entrance there. Why not? We'll have to try and sort that out in a second. We are going to go and copy our libraries then over here. They are a bit of an awkward shape to try and work with. Let's see if we can try to copy this. Campus level 11, which is really, really quite fantastic to see. What's the difference in size between these two? That is my question. They are exactly the same size, which can often be a bit of an issue, which, yeah, that could be a tad of an issue. But we can always place that there, and then we can potentially go sell this library for the moment. That could work well. That will give us 53,000. That is one expensive library, to say the least. And then we have the space for a couple of student unions along here, and that would work pretty well. We don't want to do that just yet. We're going to try and rotate that around, move that like so. We'll have to sell a couple of invalid items. We'll have to go ahead and copy this, I do believe. Yep. We'll place that over there, and then we'll have to sell another 2 invalid items. We can go ahead and we can sell that part of our campus, and then we have our 2 student lounges over there. We have a library over here, and if I go ahead and copy that, the library could sit over there. Not sure how much happier I am with that sat there at the moment, because it could be a bit of an issue. It is creating a bit of a corridor, and I'm not a massive fan of these little alleyways, as I have called them before. I don't think they are that great for our campus, really. What we could do, though, is we can go and pick this up. We can move this round, so I am going to go ahead, sell this room over here. It really is like a jigsaw puzzle. It was quite simple, I feel, in the previous episode when we were working over with our dormitory. That wasn't too difficult to try and figure out in that sense, so that wasn't too bad. How is this going to work then? Will that fit? No, it shall not. Will that fit? No, it won't. However, what we can do is we can go ahead and place this over here. That's actually going to work. Then, if I go and sell this room, we'll sort out those in a minute. If we go ahead and copy one of these, this could work pretty well. We could end up placing that there. I'm also thinking about moving other things too. This isn't going to work. We are just going to move away from that, then have a look at moving this even further over. We are causing more issues, I do feel, but it is going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it in the end. Let's not forget that. We do need to get rid of that. Then, of course, we need to move this a little bit further over. We're going to plonk that there quite nicely. That is invalid collision, apparently, which is what we love to see. Let's try and move this across here. Then, is this going to decide that it's going to work? No, it's not going to decide that it's going to work. Well, that is really helpful. I think the issue is that we do potentially need to build. Let's see, can we build some pavement? That is what I'm interested in seeing. Is that a physically possible thing to do? Bit of a complicated moment here. This is not easy to sort out. If we move this back over there, and let's go and put this over here, then we could move this over there. This is really quite the jigsaw puzzle. Hopefully it will come to fruition in the end. Now that that sits over there, let's go ahead, copy a library. This will have to sit like so here. Then we can go ahead, we can copy one of these student unions. That will not fit there. However, we can have our other library sat there. We then have the opportunity to pick up... No, I don't want to do that, thank you. I'd like to pick up the whole of this room. Then we can move that there. If we were to then go ahead and copy that, that will, of course, not fit there. That fits well there. So we're going to have to then go and pick this one up, move this further across here. Then, going to have to go ahead and copy. And we are almost where we started, really, at the moment, unfortunately. That's not exactly what I was aiming to try and achieve. However, if we were to then go and sell this, if we actually move, pick this up, move this across, this will then actually fit really nicely there. That apparently is an invalid item at the moment. That's absolutely fine. We can just go with that. And now we are having further issues because I would like to get rid of this. And I've forgotten how we sell it. That's how we sell it. Square button. It's a bit more complicated. You have to get used to the controls, of course, again. But it isn't overly difficult to understand the controls, thankfully. Unless it would be a bit frustrating at times. Can we then go ahead, copy this library? There we have it. That is finally what I wanted to achieve, because this works an awful lot better, to say the least. If we were to, e.g., go and move this potentially over here, that would actually work. So we could even do something like that, but I think it's better over here. We've got a couple of libraries, a student union, and a student union over there, and we have finally managed to sort all of this out. We can go ahead and decorate, which is certainly what I wanted to be able to go and say. It has been quite a challenge, but finally we have sorted it out, and we are ready to just go and have some fun, really. This is definitely the bit I think you've got to enjoy, you know, when you're doing it. Adding the little fine details, and they really do make a difference. If you don't put the fine details in, even if your rooms look fantastic, the campus is just going to look that bit incomplete. That's how I would put it. You want to add these in. It just makes it look so much better, to say the least. I really do recommend going ahead and placing these in your campus. A bin over there for our messy students. As always, they're going to need quite a few bins around the campus, and that's exactly what we've gone ahead and supplied them with. You'll see I'm trying to place it against the wall, and I'm failing miserably multiple times, as we usually do, but I do want more of them against the wall. I just think it looks a bit neater than leaving the gap down the back. At least you can't drop anything down there, I suppose. You know, can't get your phone stuck down there and have to crawl underneath the whole of the mucky bench, which in a university probably has chewing gum on it. So actually, yeah, I would really recommend that you do not drop your phone down the back. Hence why there isn't a back to drop your phone down. You know, we are solving the issues before they can even arise, whether they're the biggest issues in life or not. It's 2 Point Campus. It's a bit of fun, you know. Then we need another bin over here, probably, because, you know, we'll place it protruding outwards, because that is how students can trip and break necks and stuff, and then we'll have to send them over to 2 Point Campus, I suppose. We'll have to get going there again, won't we? We'll have to start rebuilding our 2 Point hospitals, and then we'll have quite a business, actually. This is quite a business model, 2 Point Campus, you know. Get the students injured here, send them over to 2 Point Hospital, and you get even more money, bring them back, and then they still pay their tuition fees. There is nothing better than this. The fantastic capitalism, basically, isn't it? Capitalism at its worst, really. But we are going to go ahead and place a few of these over here. We need our lovely coffee and hot dog stands. That's really all you can have here. So, unfortunately, if you don't like coffee and you don't like hot dogs, you're not really in luck, are you? But we'll have a couple of these, and I actually think moving them across works well. We did do this, I do believe, in our third building, so that we could place a plant between them. Why not have a plant between them? You know, what are we doing if we're not filling our campus with plants? Because let's face it, that is all the campus is for, because that's all we can really decorate it with at the moment. I don't want to go ahead and buy too many decorations at this moment in time, because I want to save up for those bigger things with the kudos, but that's almost a bit of a mistake at times, because you don't always want to do that, really. It's not often the best thing to do. Sometimes, actually, going and getting those decorations, it could be the better option. We are going to go for another bin, though, over here. Maybe, actually, no, some hand sanitizer. We'll need a bit of that. We are being told we need another assistant in Library 4. I know we are quite low on assistants. We'll try and sort that out in a minute. But over here, we do, of course, need a few more benches. We could go for some of these. I'm not sure how that'll work, but if we placed it like so, we could have enough space at the back for the students. I think that's going to work fairly well. We shall go with that. We'll place a bin or a plant in the middle. A plant in the middle, and then you really will be rushing to sit in the middle, not on the ends next to the smelly bin, because no one wants the smelly bins. No one wants the smelly bins, to say the least. We'll put a plant in the corner, and then what do we love? We love 2 Point Campus. Let's get some of these going over here in our second building. Officially the second building, as I've said. It is not the second building that we are going ahead and developing, but it is the second building. Technically, it is the second plot. And one of the good things is you don't have to use the whole plot if you don't want to. You don't even have to use all the plots at one campus. You don't need to. You often, you know, to complete these 3 stars, we are probably only going to need 3 buildings. That's what we're aiming at. That's what we're using. So if not, we're going to have to start another building, which could really kind of mess us around a tad. Not exactly what we want to have to deal with, but we'll have to wait and see whether this is going to be enough or not. You'll see I'm usually going for 2 benches next to each other. This is one of my tips in terms of designing. I'm not a design expert, but I like to think I am at times. You know, I do enjoy this side of the game. So I would recommend, if you want to play some benches, 2, and then something like a plant or a bin if you alternate. That can look good. And you're just breaking it up, but you want to have, often I would say 2. Sometimes go for 1. That can work well at the end of rows and so on. And then don't forget to break some stuff up with a few more vending machines. They are really, really quite important at times. You want your students to be able to grab some cheesy gubbins or some burp juice to ensure that that is available to them in your campus. We'll place the plant on this side for some variation, and that is that row completed very quickly and really, in my opinion, quite neatly. So I would try and maybe look at a couple of these design tricks that we're using at the moment. You probably don't care, but if you do, I hope you find this helpful. We could go for 3 in a row, but that does look a bit much, so I'm not sure. So what we're going to do, we're going to go 3 in the row. It does look a bit much, as I said, but it's absolutely fine. There's not much space to get round there, but I'm sure it'll make it more of a close, tight-knit communal area, which is what we love to see. Another couple of I Love 2 Point Campus signs, because yes, we do still love 2 Point Campus. It can be frustrating at times, you know, but you've got to love this game. It is simply fantastic. A plant in the corner, will that fit? Yes, it will. It will fit very nicely. And look at this, our third building in a very short amount of time has nicely built up some quite big corridors there, to say the least. We don't usually have such big corridors across our campus, especially not over here. I'm going to have a look at maybe a couple more benches and seats. We'll have a look at that, actually, because we aren't really utilising all the space available to us. Let's have a look at what we could actually do here. We have got a bit of space at the moment. I'm thinking potentially lining them up together. They are lined up perfectly already. That's absolutely fine then. That is fantastic to see. We're going to go with one of my sort of installation kind of ideas. Again, we're going to go place a couple here, and then a couple here, and then we have quite the opportunity. I don't know what these are. They look pretty cool. That could be a tad big. That could be a tad big, to say the least. It is a bit big, really. But that doesn't stop us, but it is going to stop us this time. We are going to place a couple of these either end. I think they're weird fountain things. Pearl of Wisdom. So it's actually just, yeah, a pearl. Right, that's not as exciting, but it is a decoration, and that is what we want to see. We could actually have a look at going for the Fountain of Knowledge. That would break this up really nicely. As I've said, that looked a bit much. I was still going to do it anyway. Well, we're not going to do that now. We are going to go for the Fountain of Knowledge, and that is not going to allow us to do so at the moment. We'll have to try and move these along a little further. Let's see. Are we now allowed to get that Fountain of Knowledge? Our students' brains will be expanding exponentially sitting over here, to say the least. That is certainly what we want to see. Of course, as I said, we do want to be gaining these course points. Exactly what we're trying to do. That will block, though, our plant, which is a tad of an issue there. This is really not working out for us at the moment, is it, to say the least? We could try. Is this going to work this time? I wouldn't mind a fountain over here. There, we could place it like so, or we could move it into the centre. And finally, we have been successful. We have finally managed to achieve this sort of a look. We are going to go ahead and try and sell that. I was looking at the courses then. We'll have a look at that in a second. Bear with me as I go crazy with the plants. We are giving our janitors even more of a nightmare at the moment. We'll place a bin. No, we won't place a bin next to that. We'll place a bin. Will we place a bin? Will we place a bin? Yes, we will place a bin. No, we won't place a bin. We are not going to place a bin. Change my mind there. We're not going to go for that. And we could do, potentially, with a few more benches along here, actually. It really is a good use of space. And I do recommend doing this quite often, actually. Just going for something like this. You know, it just gives your students a bit more of a seating area and a headache, as all they're going to see is brown and purple all day, really, isn't it? We could do with actually changing this up a tad and selling that. And then let's get into it with another plant, another bit of green vibrance to our campus. And that is our third building, the student, I suppose, unwinding area after class completed. Our student sleeping area after class is also nicely completed over here. Look at this, exactly what we want to see. And our canteen. One of the things I do think we were missing last time, though, is actually utilising this area, which I did realise afterwards that we hadn't gone and done. It's a bit of a waste, isn't it? We might as well go and use it. That's what we're going to do then. As a result of not using it, we're not going to waste space. We're going to go and place a couple of them over there, nicely complete the area. And look at our campus now. This has really come along nicely, to say the least. With ourselves being really getting on with this, I am going to have a look at making some changes to our dormitories, minor ones, of course, but we do want to have a look at just making a couple of adjustments, and there are a few reasons why. Of course, we do want to make it a bit more broken up. We're going to go 2 beds next to each other at one time. I'm going to see, can I actually move this across? There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Then we've got our 2 wardrobes on this side and then over here. Pretty much nothing. Could we add something over there too? I'm wondering about that. That would make it look a bit more exciting, wouldn't it? We've already got a couple of them over there. So I don't want to do the same again. We don't want to be too samey with it, do we? So instead, we're going to go for another wardrobe over there. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and sell this for 16,000. Quite a cheap dormitory, actually, compared to half the other buildings in our campus, because they're not exactly budget priced at the moment. We are going to go and sell this room too, and then we can go ahead and copy this. Just an easy way to replace it. Don't make the adjustment in every single different room. Just go do it for one. The only issue is, though, here, this hand sanitizer is going to evaporate, quite literally, quite applicable there. If you're on a hot summer's day, you put in some hand sanitizer. With COVID, of course, I'm still being quite cautious around places. I really do think we should still. We could easily come back. We're still having these surges in cases. But when it's on a hot summer's day, you put some hand sanitizer on, you just start rubbing it in, and all of a sudden it's just disappeared, It goes very quickly. Meanwhile, I suppose if you've got wet hands, if you've got wet hands, hand sanitizer does never really end well, because it takes ages to rub in. It is just very frustrating. You just can't get rid of it, really. Our main building, though, looking fantastic at the moment, in my opinion. We have 70 course points to go ahead and use. We may end up with level 12 once we have nicely sorted out our exterior area, and we have a rose garden too. What is better than a rose garden? We're going to have a look at placing that on that side there. We do have a few park benches over here, which I do like. I'm not sure whether we want to actually move that. I think it's quite a nice installation, really, isn't it? Let's have a look at the exterior, and this is really cool. There are a lot of exterior choices, which is so great to see that they haven't disregarded it at all. The exterior just as important as the interior at times, and that is really, really quite obvious. Look at that, a whale fountain. That is pretty cool. I'm a bit annoyed about these benches over here. We are going to sell one of these. We'll go and pick this one up. We'll move that along there. We're going to do the same on the other side, make it symmetrical. I wasn't intentionally going to sell the one I sold, but it doesn't make much of a difference, really, does it? And then we have some space for these university signs. You get the free pack. As I said, you will have a code if you buy 2 Point Campus Enrollment Edition. Definitely put the code in. You do get that, you get this, and you get that too, I do believe. So I really do recommend going and purchasing. Well, I do recommend purchasing the game, but of course you get that with it. We don't want the whale fountain there. That would take up a bit much space, to say the least. So we're not going to go for that at the moment. I'm currently deciding what we are going to do. We could place a love bench over here, although I think we're just going to pick up these benches, move them a little further in, and that is pretty much going to do, isn't it? We don't do too much more on this section. I would love to have something there, but there isn't really much that we can go and place down that we want. We could have a tree, but that is now not going to be able to materialise because we don't have enough space. Of course we don't have enough space. That is typical, really, isn't it? That had to happen. Let's see if that's now going to be able to work. Now, we got what seems to be, what is this? A pear tree, not the fruity kind. Yeah, that makes so much sense, as does the rest of 2 Point Studios creations. Yeah, not the fruity type. You've got to get your head around that, haven't you? Bit really. That's a bit weird, but, you know, that's the normal thing you got to kind of expect. We can go ahead and sell these for the moment. I will be incorporating them, do not worry. But we are going to go ahead and sell the rose garden there. Then we have this really nice installation I was creating. Don't worry, we're not deleting that permanently. We're just making a couple of minor changes. We are going to move this slightly further back to actually just match that cherry tree there. I've just gone ahead and sold it, which is not entirely what I was going to try and do. I do quite like the fountain, but actually, what could look even better is our outdoor whale fountain. We can have the fountain knowledge inside. We cannot have a whale fountain inside, and for good reason. That is absolutely humongous, to say the least. We're going to place that like so there, and then we're going to go and get stuck with our love benches. We unlocked these for some kudos, and I think it was certainly kudos well spent. I wonder how you can't seem to rotate exactly how I would like to have done, but it's alright, it's not the end of the world. We're going to go with another love bench over here. I don't know how you do it at an angle. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. You can only do it 90 degrees. I'm not entirely sure how you do that at an angle. If you could tell me in the comment section down below, it would be very much appreciated, to say the least. But we got a few of them going over there, which we, of course, love to see. And then we could place our massive university U-shaped hedge, because that is what we want to see. We're not going to go for that. Oh, my days. Those are some massive plants, to say the least. We could go for some smaller ones too. Great to see these. Oh, right, we can rotate them around. Great to see so many lovely outdoor decorations. I don't know how we're going to place these. We could do a couple over here. I think that'd look pretty nice, wouldn't it? We'll go with 2 there, and then on the other side, have a couple around here. We'll just go ahead, rotate them a little bit, place a couple like so, and then we're nicely finishing it off. Not being too precise with this, because you want it to look natural and nice like that, I suppose. You want it to look natural and realistic and so on. And we've got our lovely fountain installation over there. And then over here, we're going to go ahead and sell this. We've got our rose garden, which looks pretty nice at least. We'll nicely plonk that over there. And then, let's see what else we can add in to our area. We do have a few of these too, which I quite like. However, we got some park benches too. And we'll place a few along here. Why not go for that? They are going to look pretty nice, to say the least. We could nicely split them up a little bit. We can add a... Well, I was going to add a plant, but, you know, I've just realised we don't need to think about plants anymore here. We have full-on trees. What's this one? A tall tree. Tall, green, and handsome. Well, I mean, I'm not that tall. I'm not green, but the latter of those descriptions, that could potentially describe me, and it does seem they were talking about the tree, unfortunately, but yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, 2 Point. Anyway, let's continue along. We could... Cherry tree. I think about cherry tree then. Not cherry tree, but it is a pear tree. I do quite like the tall tree. It is very, very well shaped. You know, that is quite the shaped tree, to say the least. We'll get a few more of these picnic tables going along here, although I'm not sure how many we actually want. I think 1 on the end here could look pretty good. I'm going to sell this one now, and then sell these 2. We'll have a look at what else we can go in and place over here. We do have a few backless benches and park benches. Backless benches, you just can't count on them. Yeah, that is pretty good, actually. Good joke. Good joke. I do love the jokes in this game. Absolutely hilarious, at least. We actually are going to move these around a little bit. Our backless benches. I don't have a joke for them, unfortunately. Sorry about that. No puns this time round, but we do nicely have this installation there, and then this section over here. And I'm going to leave these as it is, but we are going to add another lovely tree. A pear tree will work very, very nicely in this section over there. We do have the opportunity to place some stands outside, which I am quite the fan of too. We are going to go with a coffee stand and then a hot dog stand next to that there. And look at this. This is really coming along nicely. I'm a massive fan of being able to nicely finish off the exterior. It really does add to the campus, to say the least. And it just completes the whole look. It really does make it look quite spectacular. Let's have a look then. We do have a few of these. And we're going to place a few of these then. These do look pretty nice. Our love benches. We've already got different love benches. We've got of that specific variety, and we got a few of these too. Got to have some of these in our campus too. I'm not going to go for them next to each other in that sense. However, we can go for a park bench, place one like so, and then do the same over here. That looks pretty nice. This is looking even more complete by the minute, to say the least. We could go for potentially the Fountain of Knowledge too. That's going to look pretty nice. And then we have the opportunity to go ahead and select the outdoor one. I would advise going for the outdoor one because, of course, there's some indoor items that you can't place outside. And there are some outdoor items that you can't place inside. So I would advise that you get them right In terms of when I would go and really focus on trying to make your campus look fantastic and really spruce it up a little bit and make it a bit more exciting, I would advise that you go and do that once you've got to a point where you know you just need that little bit of extra push in terms of improving your campus to get that 3-star. Then I would really go and try and invest in improving your campus, and once you've managed to go ahead and do that, then you'll be left with the opportunity to improve it to 3 stars. We only have 44,507 in the bank. That is not a lot at the moment. We have really depleted our funds, to say the least. We do not have an awful lot left in the bank. But that is pretty much it. We have designed our campus here at Freshley Meadows. We can upgrade a course, either scientography or virtual normality. At the moment, we will be taking in 12 students. We can upgrade either our scientography class, is about to drink some poisonous juice stuff, or our virtual normality. I want to show you around these 2 rooms. We've got our scientography over here, and we've got our virtual normality over here. And actually, the one we are going to go for, I was enticed by virtual normality, but we're going to go with scientography. The very first course, and I do feel that's what we want to upgrade here, so we're going to go ahead with that. We are going to go try to make it to, well, we're going to start, let's see, we're going to need some more course points in a second. We are going to upgrade to what will be level 3. We don't have enough. We need 5 more course points, so we need to do some more work, don't we? We need to get this up to level 12. How are we going to do that? That is quite the question. I do believe that this rose garden quite improves our campus, to say the least. I don't entirely know what more there is for us to go and do at the moment, because I really do think that we can try and make this a fantastic old 3-star campus. I want to do that. We want to upgrade a course to level 4, but unfortunately we are going to need just a few more of those course points, and we don't have them at the moment. We just are so close yet so far away in that sense, and there isn't much more for us to go and do, which is kind of an issue at the moment. Let's have a look around what we've managed to go and build. We've got our lovely dormitories over here, our showers, some toilets, and our canteen area, which is absolutely bustling with life. Then we've got our main building, a bit smaller, I would say, in terms of the life that's going on over here. That is because there will be learning taking place. No partying, sleeping, jumping up and down on beds or anything like that. This is all work, no fun, really, unfortunately to say. However, it's certainly quite a decent looking building, with us adding in a few exciting things for the students. Let's go and place a couple of plants over here. We've got our installations going once again. I do like doing this. I think it just improves the area slightly. I don't want to go too much further because we want some space for our lovely workers over there. However, I do think this could take up a bit much space, so unfortunately we're not going to go for this. We're going to go and try to just sell a couple items, move this there, spin this around, place that there, and then we'll put a plant on the end of it. Everything should be completed with a plant. It really, really should. Or a bin, although the plant is a tad more pleasant, I would say, really. Then we got this space over here. We could go and place another couple of benches on this side. That would work pretty well, I would say. I'm not sure if we've got the space to do so. So it is a bit of a juggling exercise at the moment, because I don't want to make it too grand. But of course, you do want it to look really nice and as if the space has been used properly, because we've got a lot of space to use at the moment. So we might as well go ahead and actually go and use it. That is really my advice. You know, if you've got space, go ahead, use it. That really is quite the thing to do. We could put a fountain in here, a fountain of knowledge. The students, you know, they are going to be throwing their pennies in there in the hope that they'll be getting some better grades come the end of the year. Although spending more time in the library might help you do that. They're probably just going to be going straight off to the student union once they've just gone and done that. But that's life, and that is pretty much life of our students at 2 Point Campus. Let's go for another couple of benches on this side. I think that's going to work. It's going to make it a bit more crammed, I would say. But there we go. That is looking pretty decent. And then we need a larger area down here, in my opinion, just because, of course, you know, This is the entrance, so I'm going to go and place maybe a couple of our vending machines over here. That could work, although we don't have loads of space, so just a plant or two would work. Or even a bench or two. I don't want to, though, take up too much space along here, because this is the entrance to the campus. We don't want to cram it full in that sense, although it is a bit crammed over here. That isn't too bad, of course. That is still looking pretty nice. And we really do want to make it feel complete. And we want to make it feel nice and busy, but not overcrowded. And there's quite a balance there in making it busy, but not overcrowded. Those are two, in my opinion, two different words. They can also be interpreted as the same thing, but it's just ensuring that it does look jolly nice, and it looks vibrant and exciting, and you don't have loads of empty space, but you've got enough empty space as we go ahead and nicely complete this section. There is walking space around here. Not sure so much about this section there, but that's fine. You can still walk along this corridor all the way along here, and as I'm sure you can see, we left space over there. We've done the same over here, and that is pretty much it for placing more stuff, although we do not have the ability to go ahead and make it that level 4 that we want to do. We are still lacking. We can't do it for virtual normality. It is exactly the same for both, so we're going to go and hire another virtual normality teacher, aren't we? We're going to go and do that first. Maisie, Spencer, Spoon, or Reginald Lemon. We're going to go with Spencer Spoon. He has scooped up the job. Unfortunately, he certainly hasn't scooped up his litter and put it in the bin. However, he's still pinching himself, and he will be pinching himself because he has got himself a job at our campus, and he should certainly be pinching himself if that has happened. I do believe, actually, that maybe hiring some more assistants and so on, does that increase our campus level? Cumbut Humbug, he might be a bit of a grumpy guy. However, I am sure with that library management, he should certainly be helping us out and ensuring that those books are in tip-top condition and in the correct order after they've been put back incorrectly by our students. Iron Bladder, he is gross, unfortunately. However, he will play fetch, so if you have a need to have someone like a dog, then he's certainly there. We are going to go ahead and hire a few more janitors for our campus. 31,000 for Gilbert Blum. We're going to go and hire him. And campus level 12, we've done it. That did work. Hiring more staff does really, really help. We could go ahead and hire another one of our virtual normality teachers. A bit of a risk. We are low actually on money, so we can't afford to do that. We are very low on money. We had 5,000 when starting this campus, and to build all this, we now have, yes, just the merely unsatisfactory amount of 18,000, which isn't exactly spectacular at the moment. But anyway, we can now go and upgrade our course for next year. We are going to pick Scientography. That will be level 4. And there we have it. That is completed. We will have a level 4 Scientography class for next year, and of course that will mean we'll be taking in 27 students in total, and we will also have 12 for our virtual normality course. There we have it, nicely completed, and we now need another science lab. I'm quite fuming, actually. I really am fuming now. We need another science lab. I am very, very annoyed. We've just gone and nicely sorted out the whole of our campus, and we now need another science lab before the start of our next year. A bit of a setback here, unfortunately. I am wondering, can we go ahead and build another separate building? Is that possible? That's not going to allow us to do it, is it? Because I was hoping that we could expand this building a little further, although is this gonna work at the moment? Let's see, can we build out of the plot? Yes, we can build all the way along here. Problem and issue may well be resolved. We may well have resolved all of our issues at the moment, and we could be looking fairly good. I'm gonna move this all the way over here and place that like that in the corner. We may have to bin this section, I'm not entirely sure. We'll place these and then move this installation over here, and then we can have that like so, because we are going to be expanding the building so we've got space for the staff room, because that is kind of important. We do need to keep that. We have had quite a late setback in today's episode. A bit of drama, I suppose. You don't get much when you're designing your campus, but we have had a bit of drama, unfortunately. We will probably have to continue to resolve this at the start of the next episode. I was kind of expecting it. If we're going to have more students, we're going to have more labs and so on, but I was hoping that we wouldn't have to do that. We have had to go ahead and do that. So unfortunately, that has caused a bit of an issue. We are now going to move forwards and along. Our students should be happy and excited for the new school year, of course. With ourselves improving so many different things, we are going to move this over here. Fix invalid items outside the room. What is not working outside the room? I don't understand. Don't entirely understand. You have a staff room on break with nowhere to relax. I know you got a staff room at the moment. We are currently just fixing things. Apparently, this is not working. How great. So, another interesting thing. I'm sure there's a reasonable reason, but this will not allow us to go and place it over here. There, that will now. Just maybe a minor little glitchy issue. We have gone ahead and resolved that. And now, if we were to copy, we don't have the money to do so. We also seem to have issues with our hand sanitizer. So, more issues, as we now have not got the money to go ahead and purchase a 49 grand room. We also now seemingly can't have our hand sanitizer because they're having collisions with other items. This does not make sense at this stage in today's episode, but unfortunately, that is quite the issue. We'll have to resolve that in the next episode of this series. I'm quite annoyed about this happening, of course, because we had nicely gone and sorted out our campus, and now we are practically out of money and in quite the situation for year number 3. This side of our outdoor area is fine. This side has been hampered a tad, so we'll have to try and sort that out in a minute. This is still okay over here. We'll try and pick this up, move this a little further along. Gotta stay positive here, despite the big setback, of course. Didn't know that this would happen, and then, of course, it has gone and happened, which is a slight issue at the moment. We are going to have to go and take out a loan. I think we can take out a loan. Can we take out a loan? Yes, we can take out a loan. We've got 2 Point Bank, swindles, or smell my cash. I would love to smell your cash, my friend. We can reduce the amount, 36 months to pay it back, which is not exactly great. Of course, 24 in a year, 12 in a year, don't know, I'm saying 24. We are going to go and take the risk. We're going to go with smell my cash. We want that extra cash injection, or do we? How much do we actually need here? We do probably. We don't want to end up having to have 2 loans, so it is always a risk if you mess up with that. However, 2 Point Bank and swindles. Swindles could be the best option here, or we could, I think we're going to go with swindles. That should be enough. 100 grand. We are going to go ahead and take swindles as a sponsor. And then in the next video, we'll have to try and sort this out. Let's try and copy one of these in a second. Let's copy a science lab and see, can we plonk that over there? Yes, we can plonk that over there. That will resolve all of the issues in life, of course. We can go ahead, sell that. We can sell that. We can sell that. We can sell that. And we can sell that. And there we have it. We can sell those invalid items. And we do have our science lab issue resolved. And then we have this really, really weird walkway all the way along to what seems a bit of a bump in the carpet there, but all the way along to our lovely staff room at the back, which is kind of a good idea to have it closed off. I actually think that works well. We'll have to try and finish off and add those finishing touches in the next episode after today's setback. But that is where we are going to leave it for today. Even more creating, and we are virtually there at completing our very first campus at Fresh Lake Meadows, and then we'll get into year number 3 in the next video. But as always, thanks a lot for watching. If you've enjoyed today's content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel down below if you haven't already. And if you want some more content, then you can click on either a playlist or a video on the screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe too. But as always, I will catch you, as we click something else, as always, I will catch you all very soon with some more content. We'll be looking to start year number 3, make it a 3-star campus and complete fresh laid meadows. Let's see if we get all that done in the next video. But I will catch you all very soon, as always, with some more 2 Point Campus content.